Hi and welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Netflix's original series, Paranormal. Set in the 1960s, the series packed with mystery and suspense depicts the adventures of paranormal leading character Dr. Refaat Ismail, a single hematologist who finds himself faced with a series of supernatural events. So there's 6 episodes in this, and they're 50 minutes apiece. It's a very easy to binge. I should say that if you're expecting this to be horror, it's not that. It's thriller and it has horror-esque moments, but for the most part, I wasn't scared. I was more thrilled, but I loved the story. I've seen some very low reviews for this already, which kind of boggles my mind. I can understand certain aspects of it not appealing to certain demographics, but this is definitely more of Bly Manor rather than The Haunting of Hill House, if that makes sense. The story in this one is very interesting because it is a bit confused. It is a bit messy in the sense that it pulls from so many themes of thrillers and horrors and stories told like this. I really like the aspect of the teamwork that gets going within the first 3 episodes. So we have our protagonist who seems to be cursed. Everything he does, everything around him, things break, things fall over. From the viewer's perspective, you're immediately going to think, wait, this dude is cursed. And from the beginning of the story, you would think it would be easy for our protagonist to think that as well. But no, he's a scientist, and so his thing about the paranormal, he's writing these diaries that the paranormal doesn't exist. Then we have the long lost woman that's in love with him, the Scottish lady who can speak the language, which is fantastic. I love that almost contradiction of cultures that works really well in here. Then we have the culture marriage, which they've kind of grown up with, and that is a weird triangle dynamic. So there's always being pulled in different ways. I love the mixture of culture between that way. I also like the culture that is represented within this thriller, Sherlock Holmes, supernatural paranormal series. It does pull from so many genres. In episode 1 we're talking spirits and hauntings. In episode 2 there's mummies, and there's dream walkings, a bit of Inception. There's a lot going on in here, and so the main arc is all about this main character who is trying to ignore the fact that there is something paranormal going on with him. He wants to base that on just scientific fact and prove the disproving, basically, until you start seeing events spiral out and always situates back at his family or at this main house. But along the way, we go on adventures. I particularly liked, I think it was episode 4, which is in the desert. Although I have to say, for all the set decorations and for all the makeup in episode 4, there is a CGI character that wasn't great, and that definitely took me out of the watching experience, because I was just like, whoa, that is not what I was expecting. I was expecting a monster, but I wasn't expecting it to look like that. And then it redeems itself in episode 5. There's a lady like on the lake, and she looked great, and so I was like, okay. We have a little bit of moments where it seems to be all over the place. It pulls from many genres. It doesn't quite know what it wants to be. But then we have our team of almost paranormal investigators trying to save the day in each episode. We have that overarching arc that is all about him and his family. And the way it completes, I was satisfied with, although I do think it felt like a massive leap. You think it's going in one way, you think it's all about one thing, and then it ends up being about something else, and you're like, what the heck? It is definitely written into the story. It's also based on the book, so they didn't just kind of pull out the story from thin air. So they do know where they're going. I do believe this is probably going to get a second season. I think the acting was really good from our protagonist. The weird, quirky way in which he plays his character, you are very frustrated with him a lot of the time because you want to speak. You want him to say what's going on within his mind, and you get to hear a lot of the dialogue within his mind, and so you just want him to be able to express emotion. But he's such an awkward character. He is the scientist. He is not particularly the best looking dude, but he has 2 women that seem to be totally infatuated with him. Not that that's that's so superficial of me. You have to be pretty to get the good looking woman. No, they just like him for who he is. He's a great guy, and I respect that. But I was willing him to at least choose one lady dude. Anyway, that was my tangent. I liked this character. I like how the actor portrays him. I like the way he walks. He's unsure of himself. He's always seemed to be a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious. And then suddenly he will, go off on a scientific expedition or route, or suddenly come out of his shell a little bit. And you hope that he's going to break out of that kind of quiet zone, that forlorn look that he has, but he doesn't quite do that. And so you're always kind of with him, but you're also trying to spur him on. And I love that whole kind of character development. All the characters are very well defined. You know who they are as the episodes goes on. I really like the score as well. It was a lot sadder, the story, than I was expecting it to. And the score has a lot to do with that. So at the beginning you get a little bit of that kind of ghost score, that kind of instrumental music that you expect, but when the theme comes back in at the end, you're like, oh, I see what you did there, composer. You've had this whole idea of the story is being told through the music as well. So I really have to kind of go, yeah, that is well done. Then there are some of the sets which I thought was fantastic, particularly if episode 5 stood out to me. There's kind of these dreamscapes that they had to create that didn't look CGI. Some of it would be graphics, I guess, but for the most part they looked tangible, real, which is fantastic. You want that in your show. If you're going to do something like that and have a bit of CGI and a bit of set creation, then you want them to look real. And I loved all the kind of the dreamscape stuff that they did, especially in season 5. But that's not to say the other episodes didn't have great set decoration. They also have fantastic costumes that are in the 1960s but have a little bit of flamboyancy, which I really liked. Their costumes create more of the character. I think everything is done really well, and I'm finding it hard, well, a little bit unbelievable that people are disliking the series as much as they have said that they are already. I also thought that there weren't many screeners for this. As far as I'm aware, there were only 2 episodes for reviewers that we had yesterday, and we have to finish up the series today when it went live. So I'm a little bit skeptical of those people, whether they've seen the whole series already. Not sure they have. Anywho, I thought it was thoroughly entertaining. I'm definitely going to do a spoiler ending talk because we need to talk about the ending. Suffice to say, I thought this was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. There were some things that pulled me out of it, but all in all, from costumes, sets, acting, story, that goes in a place that I wasn't expecting to. I think that might be the only place where people went, yeah, I'm not sure about that leap, or did you really have to go there? Could you not have ended it just this way? It also pulls from other films that I wasn't expecting, like The Mummy, Stephen Sommers' The Mummy, or, just that kind of genre. We have a bit of paranormal from, threads from all over the place, and I enjoyed that. Hopefully we get a season 2 and we see this couple get together, because I really want them to get together. I'm rooting for them, you guys. Let me know who you're rooting for. Did you see stuff in the background that I maybe missed? Because there was a few jump scares. That was a little bit annoying, but when they used jump scares but you weren't expecting it in the way that they normally do jump scares, I appreciated that. Sometimes they didn't do jump scares and you just saw freaky things in the background, little glimpses of a little girl, and I appreciated that. I thought that was clever. So when they're doing that, that is more entertaining, that is more creepy. But when they're doing the jump scares, you look that way, you look that way, oh, they're not there, and then they look that way, and then they're there. That is the classic technique that is used for jump scares. I think it got me once and I was annoyed with it. But apart from that, I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to give this an A-. Chat to me in the comments below what you thought about this series. Are you looking forward to season 2? And do look out for my ending talk. Thanks so much. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.